Hello there, Warden. I'm a friend. I've heard you're putting up the good fight against Loghain and Howe, right? Good for you. Make a spit on all those arrogant noble bastards. I've also heard you have certain skills. Skills of the street, you might say. No judgments here, mate. I want to help you. Besides feasting and holding revels while my family starves, why, not much. In fact, they're beautiful, kind, callous, wretched, depraved, and maker-cursed, self-centered bastards. Sorry about that. They just need taking down a rung or two. The name is Slim Cauldry, and if you've heard of me, I've been doing a sad job of it, haven't I? I hear a great many things, and for those who view certain pesky laws as mere nuisances, there's some ripe fruit to be plucked out there. I can point the way. All I ask is for a little slice for myself. My share goes to a good cause. The poor. My family. I've got 15 cousins. 15! Can you imagine? My uncle must walk around with a permanent bulge. It's disturbing, that is. Quite right. But unless you plan on personally robbing every rat bastard out there, and bully to you if you do, you won't know which fruit is the most ripe and delicious, eh? Bloody fruit metaphors, I know. But opportunity, it should be worth something to you up front. Well, one of my mates noticed your skills. Nice piece of work, that. Uncommon caliber, if you don't mind me saying. But I need to know what else you can do. Ever done bump and grabs? Do much blending in shadows? Different opportunities for different folk, you know. A respectable talent for robbing those rich bastards blind. Now that we have that settled, just ask away. One point. I don't like blood much. Call me old-fashioned, but the Maker says thou shalt not strangle, decapitate or whatnot unless the other fella really had it coming, eh? I realise sometimes you do what you have to, but restrained, right? So, what are you interested in? I'm more of a man-on-a-mission type. Chit-chat's boring if you ask me. Used to do a bit of second-story work in my day, but besides that, you don't need to know anything about me, and I already know all I need to know about you. Makes for a healthy partnership, eh? I've got one. Should be easy pickings. 50 silver. A lady's maid is in the marketplace. She's wearing bright green. Should be easy to spot. She's got a purse with some of her mistress's ill-gotten gems. Just relieve her of her purse, and then we both come out ahead. Good luck, Warden.
Oh, the mistress will be cross with me if I'm late.
You're back, eh? One lady's maid groped and pilfered. At least that's how I'd like to imagine it happened. You want something else? I got one. Better than the last. 1 sovereign. I thought you might like this one. Sir Nancine has a fancy and expensive sword. Paid for courtesy of her oppressive taxes on her lands. She's going to be at the wonders of Thedas soon, no doubt figuring new ways to kick her peasants where it hurts. This swipe will be tougher. She's got good eyes, and stealing a sword from a scabbard isn't easy. If you can blend in shadows, that might help. Good hunting to you, Warden.
This weather is miserable. Ah, a peasant. How delightful. What? What are you going on about? Boils? No, that can't be. I'm fine. It's just a cough. I'm fine. You're scaring me. Andraste, protect me. Only commoners should die like this.
You're back, eh? Once Sir Nancine realises she's robbed, I bet she'll be furious. That's delicious. Truly well done. You have time for another? I'm glad you asked. It'll cost you 3 sovereigns. We're not stealing from a lass this time. We're stealing from Ban Derby. Master Tilver, the Ban silversmith, has been on holiday for the past couple of weeks, but he's in town for the day. All of his valuable, expensive goods are locked up tight, but he has the key. He's got 2 guards with him, not the cheap kind either. If you can get by them, you should be good. Luck to you, Warden.
Sorry, the alley's occupied. You better have a good reason for it. The master is busy.
Of course. Glad to see you again. Yes, it's very good to see you again. But you see, I'm well,
I've had enough of you. Now beat it.
So you've struck again, eh? Ban Derby will be foaming at the mouth. I bet all of those rich louts will be afraid to go out. One more swipe and no one will ever forget it. I guarantee you'll love it. 6 sovereigns. 10 Loghain is out in the field. I figure you'd like to get back at him, right? Word is that his seneschal has been getting the 10's crown all nice and sparkly for the landsmeet. The seneschal is taking a bit of a rest at the Nord Noble Tavern. He won't be there long. He has a heavy guard, but if you can make off with the tyrant's own crown, think of the embarrassment. That's all I know. I hope it's enough.
Nobody goes in the room by authority of Tairn Loghain. Didn't you... Well, I don't see the harm in letting you grab one of the back tables. Come on in. Of course. Seneschal, stay back. It's the Warden.
What's that smell?
Kill the Warden. Now!
Hope someone was keeping score.
You're back, eh? The 10's crown. Oh, that's rich. You have to admit, that was worth every copper you paid me, eh? They're calling you the Dark Wolf. What do you think of that? Too bad no one can know. You could get a lot of action. There's nothing more I can offer you like that. Anything else you fancy? There's no way you can top that last heist, Wolf. You're a legend. The nobles are still afraid to come out of their manors.
What do you need? I suppose a noble death fighting the blighted wretches is better than basking in this squalor. They'd better be paying well.
Ah, Warden, we finally meet. I know why you're here. Talran sent you. My own son wants me dead. Well, I suppose I should be proud that I bred in him such ambition. He is an ambitious child, hungry for the guild to be the way it was in his grandfather's day, a violent band bolstered by secret funding from the nobility. He disagrees with my belief that we can make our way without such backroom dealing. We can, instead, work with honor and integrity. I have wrestled with my own emotions about my son for some time, in fear that I may have to turn a blade on him myself. But I cannot bring myself to do it. Kill my own son, even if it's what's best for my men. I understand, Warden. A smart man knows to stay out of the business of family. I have enjoyed working with you. I wish you luck against the Blight. Come, men. Let us see to our problem ourselves.
You know, I could get to like this. The last time I came to Denerim, I stayed at an inn so filthy the bedbugs had fleas. What say you? I could teach others, but not yourself. First, I would need someone who has training as a rogue. That is, unless you would care to spend the years it takes to gain the fundamentals. But if there should be such a person who desires this training, yes, by all means, send them to me. The crows are already furious, no? I shall enjoy tweaking their nose further. I wouldn't have spoken about it before, but you have been a good friend. There is no reason for me not to speak of it now. There is a reason I accepted this mission in Ferelden, far away from home, and it had nothing to do with any thought that I might leave the crows. Meeting you, after all, was quite an accident. My last mission before this one did not end well. The mission itself was quite successful. I mean that it did not end well for me. You must realize that until that day I was cocky and arrogant. I was the best crow in Antiva, I believed, and I bragged of my conquests often, both as an assassin and lover. Indeed. I was often told I was insufferable, right before I ended up in bed with someone. Such is how it was. One of the Crow Masters grew tired of my boasting. My bid for an incredibly difficult mark was accepted, much to my surprise. A wealthy merchant with many guards and completely silent. Taliesin agreed to be part of my team, as well as an elven lass named Rina. She was a marvel. Tough, smooth, wicked. Eyes that gleamed like justice. Everything I thought I desired. Rina was special. I had closed off my heart, I thought. But she touched something within me. It frightened me. When Taliesin revealed to me that Rina had accepted a bribe from the merchant, told him of our plan, I readily agreed that she needed to pay the price and allowed Taliesin to kill her. Rina begged me not to. On her knees, with tears in her eyes, she told me that she loved me and had not betrayed us. I laughed in her face and said that even if it were true, I didn't care. I convinced myself it was. Taliesin cut her throat, and I watched her bleed as she stared up at me. I spat on her for betraying the crows. When Taliesin and I finally assassinated the merchant, we found the true source of his information. Rina had not betrayed us, after all. I wanted to tell the crows what we had done, our mistake. Taliesin convinced me not to. He said it would be a foolish waste. So we reported that Rina had died in the attempt. We needn't have bothered. The crows knew what we had done. The master who disliked me told me so to my face. He said the crows knew, and they didn't care. And one day, my turn would come. I felt empty. I felt as if I was nothing. I felt as if she had been nothing. You once asked why I wanted to leave the crows. In truth, what I wanted was to die. What better way than to throw myself at one of the fabled Grey Wardens? And then, this happened, and here I am. It feels good to speak of it to someone. I swore I never would. Whatever it is I sought by leaving Antiva, I think I have found it. I owe you a great deal. Let us return to your mission, shall we? Suddenly I do not feel like standing about.
Excuse me, I have to dust the Earl's sitting room. The Chamberlain disapproves of us. If Lady Isolde hadn't brought me into this household from Redcliffe last year, I'd never have been given a place. I beg your pardon, sir, but I really can't be seen standing about. The housekeeper will have my head. Good day.
Ah, Warden. I trust you've made yourself comfortable. Why don't we ensure Loghain won't have us all executed first, and worry about how to celebrate later? This is Erlina, she's...
I am Queen Enora's handmaiden. She sent me here to ask for your help.
Or perhaps the young lady prefers to speak for herself.
The Queen, she is in a difficult position. She loved her husband, no? And trusted her father to protect him. When he returns with no king and only dark rumors, what is she to think? She worries, no? But when she tries to speak with him, he does not answer. He tells her not to trouble herself. My queen suspects she cannot trust her father. And Loghain, he is very subtle, no? But when and how, he is privy to all the secrets and not so subtle. So she goes to how? A visit from the Queen to the new Earl of Denrum is only a matter of courtesy, and she demands answers. He calls her every sort of name, traitor being the kindest, and locks her in a guest room. I think her life is in danger. I heard House say she would be a greater ally dead than alive, especially if her death could be blamed on Earl Eamon.
We may have no choice but to trust Enora. The Queen is well loved. If Loghain succeeded in pinning her death on me, I'm not sure that's a risk we can afford to take. I fear if this is a trap, we are already caught in it. They can kill Enora whether or not we act, and blame her death on us. Few would believe our word over Loghain's. We can only defend ourselves with the Queen in hand.
I have some uniforms. I'll hire so many new guards every day. A few more will not cause much stir. I will show you to the servants' entrance. We must slip in and out with my queen before anyone is the wiser. I will go ahead to House Estate. Meet me there as soon as you can.
I'm glad you decided to help. With Honora's knowledge, we have a far better chance against Loghain. She and Kaelin were promised as children and practically raised together. She was a smart child, knew how to listen, and how to blink those big blue eyes and get anything she wanted. Her mother's looks, her father's brains, and the best tutoring Merrick's money could buy. It's a potent combination. From Erlena's story, he turned against her first. If he truly intends to sacrifice her, I think it will be strong motivation to break the parental bonds. In any event, I would far rather have the opportunity to ask such things of her than simply hear about her murder. If Honora speaks out against Loghain, hers would indeed be one of the most powerful voices of the Landsmeet. No more easily than without you there. There will be none to see it, save those who are already loyal to Loghain. And given your reputation, Warden, I think Loghain knows it's safer to carry out his plots far from where you can disrupt them. She's obviously more than a maidservant, but I imagine it's useful for Honora to have a trusted attendant who can move more freely than she herself. And consider what aid she and the Queen might be to us. If Honora has truly turned against her father, she becomes the one thing we lack. Someone with a true understanding of Loghain's plans and allies. With her guidance, we can form a far more successful strategy against him. As you like. My palace is your palace.
The servants' entrance is on the other side of the house. We must slip past this crowd to reach it. We will have to be very careful. Al-How is inside. Yes, and wherever he goes, a great many guards go with him. The estate is in poor repair. The new owl, he has not been very prompt in paying his workmen. I will be right behind you. I can distract the guards, but you must move quickly. More guards patrol every hour. If they find these two missing, they will know... how you say... something is amiss. Hurry! My lady does not have much time. Are you all prepared? I will go distract the guards. These two know who is allowed to come and go. They will not be fooled. But the uniform should work on most of those inside. I will lure them into the courtyard. Wait in the bushes. Oh, you must come! I saw something! By the fountain! I think it was a darkspawn!
Darkspawn?
They will drag us all underground to be eaten!
Should we call for help?
Did you fall off a cart full of stupid? Call for help? So they can see us act like scared little girls because of some knife-eared wench?
They will eat us all alive! Please, get help!
If there is something out there and we don't sound the alarm, we'll look worse than scared.
Andraste's holy knickers. Fine, we'll check the courtyard, if it'll keep you from wetting yourself. But there's nothing there.
Thank you. Oh! It was over here! Quickly! Ah, it took me forever to be rid of those two. You must be careful now. The servants, they will not look closely at anyone in uniform. All guards are alike to a cook, no? But you should not draw attention to yourself. Most of the guards are new. They will not know you for a stranger at a glance. It is best to keep your distance from all of them and try to blend in. She's in the guest room of the main hall. Andraste, guide us. The Grey Warden is here, my lady.
Thank the Maker. I would greet you properly, but I'm afraid we've had a setback. How am I supposed to answer that? Shall I try to shove my crown under the door? Do you think the royal family has a secret knock? My host... was not content with leaving me under heavy guard. He sealed the door by magic.
We must get her out of there.
Don't panic, Erlina. Find the mage who cast the spell. He'll most likely be at Hal's side. Well, if he didn't know you were here, he soon will. Thank you, Warden. My prayers go with you.
Count Hal will probably be in his rooms. They're at the end of the hall, on the left.
What? Who goes there?
I thank you for creating such distraction, stranger. I have been waiting days for the opportunity. Do you think you could... Alistair? Is that you?
Who? Wait. I do know you. You were at my joining. He's one of us. A warden from Orlais. Jada, I think. Or was it Montsemar? I'm afraid I don't remember your name.
I'm Riordan, senior warden of Jada, but born and bred in Highever, and glad to be home. For the most part attempting to hold my tongue. I was sent when we received no word from King Cailan as to the outcome at Ostagar. The king had invited all the wardens of Orlais and their support troops to join him. Then nothing. With an offer of hospitality and a poisoned chalice, I was fool enough to think Loghain didn't yet know who I was. I saw him go into the dungeons. He may still be there. We had 200 wardens and 24 divisions of cavalry. The first we heard of Loghain's edict was when everyone was turned back at the border. That was when the rumor reached us that wardens were being blamed for the massacre. We finally decided it was safest to send someone alone to learn how best to fight the Blight and this regime simultaneously. As a native Ferelden, I volunteered to make the crossing. The other wardens won't risk their strength fighting Ferelden's civil war. If they spend themselves against Loghain, there is truly no hope. They recall accounts of the first Blight, how many cities fell. If Ferelden is too foolish to save itself, at least, we'll be ready when the Archdemon leads its forces further. Besides, I hear you haven't been doing badly at raising an army yourself. But perhaps if the edict can be lifted, I will send a message as soon as we are gone from this place. This is hardly the best place to talk.
We've been staying with Arl Eamon at his estate. If you need a place to stay, I'm sure he'd make you welcome.
At Arl Eamon's, then. And good luck, brother.
Who goes? You think you're clever, do you? Anybody tries to come in here without Hal's say-so, we get to do what we like with them. I think we finally got a bit of entertainment here, lads.
Right ahead.
Don't leave me here! Get me out of here! That's an order! Was this supposed to be a lesson? Did my father think it funny to leave me for so long before sending you? You move in August company, stranger. I am Oswin, son of Ban Sigurd, of the Dragon's Peak Bannon. If you aren't one of our soldiers, pray tell me, who should I be thanking for my rescue? Then I have no question about why you would come, Warden. For it is your men who have suffered the most here. You have my heartfelt gratitude. And I assume the gratitude of the entire Dragon's Peak Bannon. If my father sent no one after me, I can only assume that he does not yet know the true colors of the snakes he is allied with. But if you talk to him, I'm certain he would offer you any reward you might ask. One soldier returning from Ostagar was my wet nurse's son. We have been friends since birth. He told me his unit was ordered to turn their backs on Cailan at Ostagar, before the Darkspawn overwhelmed him. The next day he disappeared. When I went to search for him, I accepted a drink from a stranger and ended up here. Then there is a Landsmeet after all. Hal said the Earl of Redcliffe was dead, and the Landsmeet called off. I swear, if there be any forum to speak out against Loghain, my father will be there. Now, please, I must try to get to him. I cannot see the last of this place too soon.
They said to retreat. The horn sounded, and we turned, and then the screams. We rode, and they screamed and screamed and... Mother, can you smell the blood? They said it was only Darkspawn. But we ate them too. They died, and we left them in the swamp. The witch. The witch!
He's obviously mad. I don't think you'll get anything more out of him.
Safe? Is there a safe? Perhaps next door?
Do you suppose he actually saw my mother there? Or is he just blaming her in his madness?
Well, well, the Grey Warden. I must say I'm surprised Eamon would condone you invading my castle and murdering my men. Is he losing faith in the persuasive powers of his Landsmeet? Loghain's plan is to save Ferelden from real threats, here and now. And after certain upstarts are brought to heel, he will end the blight you go on about. Something your pathetic Order of Second Sons can't seem to get done. Ferelden needs a king who has known command. With the proper advisor at his side, of course. Perhaps. But it has served me so well. You should have left when you had the chance, Warden. Slunk off to the Anderfells to hide with the rest of your kind. This Landsmeet is a farce. Loghain will triumph, and you will die.
Prepare to meet your match.
Let's have a bit!
Make her spit on you. I deserved more.
Andraste, Bride of the Maker, have mercy on me. Alstana, is that you, little sister? No, I don't know you, do I? Are you real? Where am I? I'm Erminric, Knight Lieutenant of the Denerim Chantry. You aren't one of the Tairn's men?
He sounds like he's in lyrium withdrawal. He's got all the signs, confusion, weepiness. He probably doesn't even know what he's saying. If the Grand Cleric knew he were in here, she'd be spitting hot coals. Nobles don't have authority over Templars.
I failed in my duties, Maker. Forgive me. I failed, and there's no telling what he's done. The Malefica. He had turned blood magic upon Templars and Circle mages to escape from his tower. Near Redcliffe, I cornered him, but the Tairn's men took him from me and brought me here. Yes, he destroyed his phylactery. We were spread out, trying to find him. I was alone. You are real, aren't you? My dreams are so strange now. Please, if you're not a dream, help me. No one can free me from failure, save Blessed Andraste. Give this ring to my sister, Alstana. Tell her I'm sorry. Please, ask her to pray for me.
Shh, the housekeeper will hear us.
Everyone's at dinner, don't worry.
In that case, come here. Someone's here.
Look, you didn't say nothing. Wait, who are you? You're not on my watch! Call the watch! We've got an intruder!
My thanks. Because there are two sorts of people in this house. Those loyal to Howe, and those loyal to me. If Howe's people find me, I'll be killed. And my people will insist on escorting me back to the palace, where my father may also have me killed.
Warden, in the name of the Regent, I am placing you under arrest for the murder of Rendon Howe and his men-at-arms. Surrender, and you may be shown mercy. Don't be ridiculous. The Queen isn't being held prisoner here or anywhere else. Her father would never stand for such a thing. Unlike you, some of us know what honor and loyalty are. I have no doubts about Loghain. Bring them down! Loghain wants the Warden, dead or alive.
Let us go quickly. Draw attention to us.
We have to help them! Maker, preserve us!
Eamon, we have a problem.
Andraste, watch over our friends in danger.
Calm down. What has happened?
The Wardens have been captured.
What? How could this happen?
Never mind that. The question is how to free him.
Surely you mean them, Your Highness. We need Alistair too.
Yes, of course, I meant Alistair too.
I know where they are. The Grey Warden is in possession of a ring that allows me to locate him. Getting to him, however, is quite something else.
Oh, you're awake. I was starting to worry. I've been worse. I'll be better still when we get out of here. Who do you think will come? Oh, I wish I could see that. One person assaulting Fort Draken all alone. I hope you're right.
State your business.
We have come to perform last rites for a condemned prisoner.
What for? Mother Augustine is already here.
Mother Augustine is but one frail woman. There is much praying to be done now. 'Twould be too great a burden for just one priest.
Now more than ever, the chant of light must be sung from even the meanest of places. A single voice will hardly reach the Maker's ear over the cacophony of human suffering.
Fine. Wait over there. I'll get the captain.
Fate truly has a sense of humor. That tale should have fooled no one.
Everyone trusts priests. It's only natural.
If you believe that, you are a bigger fool than those guards.
All right, what's this about?
We have been sent to minister the chant for the prisoners here.
How many priests does it take to pray for a handful of wretched criminals? Fine. I'm not one to argue with the chantry.
Oh, I wasn't expecting... Did Boann send you? I already told her I'm old, not dead. I can handle the work here perfectly well.
I'm sorry.
I've served the chantry longer than she has. And what do I get? Wouldn't you like to retire, Mother Augustine? Retire? I have not spent 30 years ministering to the condemned to spend my days gardening and tatting lace, I'll tell you that. Preposterous idea.
Do you not think you deserve time to yourself?
I'll retire when I want to retire, and no uppity little tart is going to tell me otherwise.
I had no idea we were being sent here to slight you. That's unconscionable.
It's an offense against the Maker is what it is. And it's about time I did something about it. Be good enough to mind the chapel for me, would you, dear? I'm going to give that woman a piece of my mind.
This might be tricky.
If you wish to plan. Do it quickly. They may be taking the Warden for execution as we speak.
Did you hear what happened to Sir Calthrion?
No. What?
Gentlemen, do you have time for a question, perhaps?
For you? Sure.
Why are you here? Does your duty truly require that you devote even your own time to it?
Well, that is... something could come up.
And of course your superiors are bound to notice your dedication.
Well, I can't say the scenery here isn't a good argument for spending time here.
What? You never said you had your eye on Tanner.
Of course You poacher! You're eyeing her too!
I've been posted here longer than you have. You're the blighted poacher, you mangy little runt!
I almost feel bad for doing that.
State your business.
You're the officer on duty, aren't you?
I am.
Is it difficult? I can't imagine being responsible for the lives of an entire fortress full of people.
What do you mean?
Everyone depending on you all the time? It doesn't keep you up at night? You don't think to yourself, what if I slip up? What happens then?
No.
And not just in the fort. The whole city of Denerim relies on you. Thousands of people.
I hadn't really thought of it that way.
I just can't imagine.
You know, Maker, I think I'm going to be sick.
Sergeant, where are you going?
Come quickly, Warden, though I doubt you are inclined to linger.
There you are. Follow me, the Arl is waiting for us.
Maker's breath. It's good to see you in one piece, my friend.
Indeed. We have been praying for your safe return, Warden.
I can believe it. Though I'm afraid if we do not act quickly to erode Logain's support, we may all be seeing a great deal of Fort Draken in the future.
We will need to work together, and quickly. My father has gone mad. I didn't believe it at first, but he is gripped by a paranoia so severe it prevents him from seeing sense. He saw me as a threat, yet even now I'm certain he will be telling the nobles you are dangerous murderers that have kidnapped and mind-controlled me. He may even believe it. Perhaps. It will be more difficult for him, but if my father says the Grey Wardens are the enemy, many will believe it. He is a legend.
It's true. Our position in the Landsmeet is not strong, and this does little to help us.
At least that snake Howe is dead. That alone will not be enough, however. My father is committed to his path. You will need ammunition for the Landsmeet, and there I can help. You have only just arrived in the city, so perhaps you are unaware of some recent events. Denerim has been in turmoil since Ostagar. Many people here are angry or grieving. Strangely, the unrest is worst in the alienage. Few elves accompanied the army. They should have little reason to be upset, which means that Howe and my father must have given them reason. I don't know what is happening there, but I am certain my father has his hands in it.
A useful lead, Honora, but you could have sent this information with your maid.
That is true. I feared for my safety as Howe's prisoner. But to tell the truth, I sent Elena to you because I hoped we might join forces. You need that evidence for the Landsmeet. But you also need a stronger candidate for the throne. You need me. You don't need to trust me. We have the same goal. That is far better than trust. I have no doubt Alistair is biddable enough, and decent, but even with his blood, he is no king. You think only I can see it? Not only that, Alistair is a Grey Warden. It will look like you are trying to put a Grey Warden on the throne, despite your claims. I am a neutral party, and I am already queen.
Honora, you are indeed Kaelin's widow, but...
I am the daughter of Ferelden's greatest general. Who do you think truly ruled this nation for the last 5 years? Kaelin. I am what this country needs, not an untrained king who does not even want the throne. I can help you stop my father. Consider what I have said. For now, I think I will retire to my room. Warden, when you have a moment, I ask that you speak to me in private.
Well, she's quite spirited. I remember when Loghain first brought her to Denerim. Poor Galen was a good boy, but Honora was always 2 steps ahead. Had him jumping when she snapped since the first time she batted her eyelashes. I cannot help thinking she may be trouble, but we should keep her close, all the same. Loghain is the problem at hand, yes. We need to do all we can to erode his support before we call the Landsmeet. Maker knows what that man is capable of now. This is an alliance of convenience. For the moment, we are united against Loghain. Be careful how much trust you place in her. I do not for a moment think Honora means to give up her power easily. Still, I would rather have her where we can watch her than actively working for Loghain. Honora was a capable administrator for Kaelin's lands, but she has not a drop of royal blood. We did not fight the Orlesians all those years just to lose our royal line in a single generation. Not when there's a surviving son of the blood.
Thanks. I am right here, you know.
His mother was a maid, but his father was Merrick Therin, for whom we all risked our lives to win back the throne. I only wish Merrick had taken more time to instruct the lad in the politics of ruling. I did my best, but we all hoped Kaelin and Honora would secure the succession. Ferelden was first united by Calenhad, the Silver Knight. For 400 years, his descendants have ruled Ferelden. That was the heritage we preserved from the Orlesians, and it is the heritage I will fight for as long as one of Calenhad's descendants still lives. Without that to unite us, we could scatter back to warring Terniers.
No, I don't, which I've told both of you on many occasions. If Honora's turned against Loghain, I say let her keep the crown. It looks better on her anyway.
You're both wrong. With a few months of experience, Alistair will make a fine king. He knows how to lead troops to defend his land. He knows how to stand and fight for justice. He knows how to show compassion to those less fortunate, and how to trust to the Maker's guidance to know right from wrong. And he knows who to turn to for aid, should that training fail him. He will be fine.
Are you serious? No, never mind. I don't even want to hear the rest of this. You two just keep talking about me. I'm going to stand over here with my fingers in my ears.
That would certainly solve a lot of problems, and put forth the strongest argument before the Landsmeet to remove Loghain from power. With Therin blood on the throne, and Honora's wisdom and popularity, Ferelden could present the most united front against the Blight. Unfortunately, the marriage would never happen, unless they both agreed to it. And I suspect that might take a lot of persuading to get past her pride and his humility. We certainly have a great deal to plan. Of course, if I might make a suggestion, go speak with Honora. She will either be a powerful ally or a powerful enemy, and the sooner we know which she is, the better.
If one more servant asks if I would like a change of clothes, I will set the house on fire. What do you want? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will. And you wish to do this in front of an audience, do you? Come to think of it, I find myself no longer caring.
So I'm guessing someone told Honora I was planning to steal her throne. She has a nasty glare. She wants to be queen. I get it. I don't trust her any more than her father, but I get it. They say that Honora is smart, determined. She's supposedly the one who's really ruled here, not Kaelin. She's her father's daughter. Me? I say that's where the problem lies. People like her and her father always think they're the only ones who can fix things. So everyone should just stay out of their way. What do you think? When the Landsmeet comes, you might even have a say. I think they'll listen to a Grey Warden. One who just might save this country yet.
Hello again, Warden. It is good that you came to speak with me. I will be blunt. I can see that your voice will be a strong one in days to come. It is to you that Eamon listens, and with good reason. My father must be stopped, but once that is done, Ferelden will need a ruler. I would welcome your support for my throne. No? You're a Grey Warden, and despite the fact that my father will paint himself as the only one who can protect the country from the Blight, it is not so. Secondly, you saved Arl Eamon from a plot that no doubt had its origins in Hal's sick little mind. People will not forget that. You are competent and powerful, and in the right place at the right time. Used to your advantage, these things could bring you far. Do you disagree? You are a fellow Grey Warden. What do you think of Alistair's potential to rule? Never mind his willingness. Alistair seems like a kind, well-meaning man, and biddable enough. These are admirable qualities, if not kingly ones. He also seems to be a fine Grey Warden, which is exactly why he should remain one and serve the kingdom by defeating the Darkspawn. Cailan knew of Alistair. It was Arl Eamon that kept Alistair out of the courts, as Merrick had desired. Oh, there are some who would follow Alistair out of respect for his Therin blood. The others would see this as Eamon grabbing for power. Who else do you think Alistair would turn to for help? Eventually, the nobility would return to the old days of constant warring with each other. Alistair's weakness would destroy everything Merrick built. I simply believe that I am what this country needs. I will fight for what I believe. Would Alistair do the same? Thus, I say again, I would welcome your support for the throne if you would give it. That is exactly what I am proposing. When the time comes, you support my bid in the Landsmeet to remain on the throne. You will be seen as my father's enemy, yet you will be in support of his daughter. You will be seen as supporting the interests of Ferelden, as opposed to solely those of the Grey Wardens. In return, I add my voice to yours. Do you see? Together we can do what alone we cannot. Once I am queen, I will be in a position to grant you whatever you wish. And I shall. Alistair might promise you the same, I suppose. But I would ask which is better. The gratitude of a weak king, or of a strong queen. And even if it is not for you, think of what I could do for the Grey Wardens. Think of what I could do for your people. I trust I have made my point. For years, I have ruled this kingdom as Cailan's queen. As much as they loved Cailan, all of the Banon knew this to be so. Cailan was a good man, but what is needed now is not another good man, but a good ruler. I sent Alina here not solely because I thought I needed help, but because I saw an opportunity for us both. What say you then? Your support for mine in the Landsmeet? He is my father, as well as a great general, who has served his nation well until now. If there is a way for him to live, I would prefer it. I will always be my father's daughter, but even I know he must pay for his crimes. It will not make me glad, even so. Does that affect your decision? Can we yet come to an arrangement? Ignoring that the man looks so much like Cailan, my recently dead husband, if you'll recall, my main fear is that he might govern like Cailan as well. But it is true that Alistair has Therin blood. To some, this is more important even than practical considerations. A union might be considered a compromise, but is this something Alistair even desires? Let me say this. If Alistair is willing to stand back and allow me to continue governing the nation, then I would be willing to have him as my king. It is my understanding that governing does not appeal to him anyhow. If that is so, this is a compromise I can live with. Do you foresee me agreeing to place an untried, unwilling man on the throne otherwise? One whose largest decisions to date have consisted of which shoe to put on first? If it will settle matters more quickly, I am willing to agree to this. But only if it will benefit Ferelden. Do so. I will be interested to hear what he has to say.
So, I just saw Honora not long ago. Strange story. She gave me the strangest look. Like she was sizing up whether the cow was ready for slaughter. I asked her why. You know what she said? It would be like marrying his twin. I misheard that, right? Tell me I misheard. I can't say I like the idea at all. Why should I even consider something like this? Maybe you're right. I hate it when you're right. Go ahead, then. Tell her I'll do it if it comes to that. Now, excuse me while I go have a small heart attack somewhere. No big deal, right?
Well, have you spoken to my lucky betrothed yet? Or will we be reduced to passing notes? He has? I wasn't expecting that, to tell you the truth. To marry Kaelin's brother. Well, I suppose stranger things have happened. If it will truly help matters... Is this it, then? I agree to marry Alistair, to retain my throne, and in exchange I give you my support. If not, then tell me now. Done. So, we have a deal, Warden. I trust you'll keep your end of the bargain. Now, I suppose, comes the task of dealing with my father. That will be no small feat, of course, but I am certain you already know this. I imagine you have much to do. Is there anything else you needed from me? Ask me whatever you like. Well, he was once a farmer when he was a boy, if you can believe it. I never could myself. He's useless with plants, for one thing. I remember my mother once asking his help with a sick rose vine. My mother oversaw the rose gardens personally. He touched it. No more than that. And it shed half its leaves like a dog with mange. She never asked for him to help with her roses again. He bought her another one, though. He carried it back from Denerim with the branches overflowing his saddlebag. Despite the thorns tearing him bloody, he wouldn't let anyone else take it. He wanted to be the one to present it to her. My father has his faults, Warden, but he is far from common. I hope not, but I fear it is so, yes. Because he believes he is right, Warden. He thinks he is the only one who can see Ferelden out of its current crisis, even if it is one he helped engineer. My father is capable of remarkable blindness, but it stems from his love of Ferelden. That is the saddest part of all, I think. I'm not sure. I had no inkling of my father's plans until Kaelin was already dead. I would like to think that my father planned for the worst, but did not truly decide that Kaelin was a lost cause until that moment in Ostagar. The alternative is difficult to imagine. Trust would perhaps be putting it too strongly. My father knew what Howe was, and while I despised the man, I knew that father relied on his political mind. I expect my father thought himself above being influenced by the snake. Truly, I wonder how many of these acts stemmed from Howe and not my father at all. We may never know. Ask me whatever you like. Of course it does. Do you think me heartless? But how much worse would I be to calmly stay at the side of a man who murdered my husband? It seems a strange word to describe a marriage our parents arranged when he was newly born and I still in swaddling clothes, but yes, I loved him. He was reckless, impetuous, and charming. Had he not been king, he would have made a dashing rogue for a band of players. We were a good pairing. He would not have wanted the burden of ruling any more than I would have liked remaining the silent wife in my husband's shadow. They would not believe it, most of them, even from my lips. Loghain is the hero they've looked up to their whole lives. Far easier to believe you or me a liar than him a murderer and tyrant. That's why it will be critical to find some way to discredit him before the lands meet. We must have proof of my father's crimes for the bands, or they will never believe us. Kaelin was so idealistic. The world was his storybook, and he was the hero. My father is different. He's an idealist too, but he knows what idealism costs. They often clashed, but never seriously, never for long. Kaelin would always come round to father's way of thinking eventually. And then the Blight came. Kalen dreamed of uniting all the nations of Thedas against the Darkspawn. It was a dream. He wouldn't surrender. What my father saw, however, was the boy he had swaddled inviting Orlesian troops back into the land he had fought to free of them. And for once, my poor, foolish husband wouldn't back down. It was more than just my own loss, but I thank you all the same. Ask me whatever you like. Do you want me to try my luck at fortune-telling? There was an old woman who read palms in the village of Gwarren when I was a child. She told me that I would have 10 children and be bald as a winter heath when I grew up. I can't say I put much faith in foretelling. What will happen depends much on you, Warden. But you certainly knew that already. No. And while I know your concern is hardly disinterested, still, thank you.
Warden, let me know if there's any assistance I can give you. We have much to do and little time. My hearing must be going. I could swear you just said that Alistair and Honora agreed to marry. Pleased would hardly describe it. Shocked. I'm shocked. If you had come in here and told me they'd both sprouted wings and flown to Devinter, I would be less stunned. This alliance can only help us. Well done, my friend. We need to do all that we can in the few days left to us before the Landsmeet.